On this edition of Issues and Insiders, we meet with a former beauty queen who moved from the army back to the sport of Kabaddi for the latest Asian Games that recently took place in China. Welcome to Issues and Insiders. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with a member of Korea's national Kabaddi team who took part in the latest Asian Games. I have Woo Hee-jun here in the studio with me. Hee-jun, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Right, let's begin then with your thoughts about the Asian Games that ended last weekend in China, where you competed in the sport of Kabaddi.
Right, but before we move on to our first question, thank you for having me once again. And it's my big pleasure to be here as the guest for your interview. Yeah, sure. So we just finished our Asian Game from last week. So it was incredible and also the critical at the same time. Well, the results came out that what we didn't expect it, because we just got failed from Premier Leagues. But we threw out the 3 matches. So we just do our best with our team members, even though we competed with the very strong team, the India, and also the Chinese Taipei, and also the Thailand. Our first match was begin with the Thailand, but Thailand was one of the strongest team and has very similar types of our movements. Like they also trained with us for a long time, and the way they move, the way they train is quite similar with Korea. So we actually analysis their movements for a very long time. But on the match day, even though we tried our best, but the result didn't came out that well. But second match was begin with the India. India is one of the top level of the nations because the Kabaddi is one of the national sports in India. That means that they have so much of people who really good at the Kabaddi in there, and also they have good support actually when you compare with Korea. So yeah, we also like a very prepare the match with India because it was one of the biggest team. But I think compared with our first match, we did a little more better though, even though the score has a little big gap between that. But other player, we just try to be focused in our movements, not for the score. We just try to be shows what we prepared and what we got. So I personally liked our second match for the best. And the second match began with our Chinese Taipei. Actually, we did have friendly match for 2 months ago before the Asian Games. So we knows them, and they also knows us. So it was a very tough and tricky though, because we knows all the players, the movements, their strategies, and as well. So we actually predicted it's gonna be a very difficult match, but it actually came through though. But throughout those 3 matches, we actually developed our abilities as well. And it was a very good experience, even though we didn't get the good result. But and all the fans and global people, they really liked our match and gave us the biggest support and cheers as well. So it wasn't never forgettable memories.
Right, good to know. And Hee-jun, before we delve any further, do tell us a bit about the sport of Kabaddi, which you say is India's national sport, right?
I can say this is a national sport in India because India has various sports they pursue as the national sports. But Kabaddi is one of them, and Kabaddi consists with the 7 people. And these 7 people also consist with the offender and defender as well. I can say 4 main defender and 3 main offender. So it's combined with the one middle line, and one of the offender from our team goes to the opposite sides and try to touch one of the members of that team with using the hands or foot, whatever of your body.
So it's a contact sport.
Right, exactly. So just try to touch your clothes or hair is also possible. Also the skin of your body. And when he come back to our court safely, and they got 1 point. But if he touched 2 people or 3 people or more, they got exactly the same points after their touch points. So if I touch you and come back to my court, I got 1 point. But if I touch one of the 3 stuff in here, and I got the 3 points. But in opposite side, as defender, the 7 people, when they have 1 offender, they try to catch this guy. So try to like catch their legs or arms, any part of the body. So these offenders cannot go to their court. So that is the goal for the defender. So it goes like give it a turn for the offense and defense. And the first half consists with the 15 minutes and have the 1-5 half time between that and the second half for the 15 minutes.
Right, I see. I understand that while you're trying to, so it's a little like trying to play tag with your friends.
Exactly. It's
And
tag.
when you're in the opposition team or territory, so to speak, you're not allowed to take a single breath. What does that mean?
We can take a breath, but the Kabaddi means in Hindi, which is in India's language, is like a stop, like keeping in your breath. The Kabaddi in India, that means.
So you're holding your breath.
Right, holding the breaths. But we're not like holding a breath during the match, but it's just having the meaning from like some kind of like historical, stuff. But we have to say this word Kabaddi during our offense and defense. Like if you are the offender and you go to the opposite side to touch anyone amongst them, you have to say the Kabaddi within 30 seconds. Because 30 seconds is your time so you can do the touch. But within the 30 seconds, you have to speak out loud. Like a Kabaddi is a very regularly, like a Kabaddi, 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 Kabaddi. But if you stop saying Kabaddi, or if you say another word, not except the Kabaddi or Kabach or Kabadu, maybe the judge gave you the penalty because you didn't say the Kabaddi. It's a very basic and very important rule for the Kabaddi. So I think that is a very unique rule or regulation for this Kabaddi this sport has.
Right, I see. Right now, so not only are you a national Kabaddi player, though, you are also a former beauty queen, Hee-jun, and an army lieutenant who was deployed to Lebanon, I believe, in the year 2021. First of all, then, how do you respond to all the media attention that you've been garnering amid this very impressive list of career experiences?
Right. At the moment, especially these days, the media has focused on my career and also my sports Kabaddi. That's very good for me, and I really appreciate all the concern in there because the media didn't really focus on my sports Kabaddi, because before the previous time when I selected one of the Miss Korea, the first runner-up 2019, maybe they can focus on my a little of the Kabaddi, but they more focus on my appearance and what my future goals. And I already spoke out that I'm gonna join the army like 2 years later at the moment. So they kind of more get the curiosity on my army, not like really Kabaddi though. But when I'm joined the army and I'm discharged for this year on June, and from that time, the other media start to get the curiosity on my sports, because that moment we had only like 3 months left before the Asian Games 2022. So I really appreciate all the concern and interesting moments that the media that has. And I don't know, sometimes it gave me good motivation and also the pressure at the same time, because I feel like I really need to get the medal for this time, because the media focus me and focus on our sports and focus on our national team Korea. But I would say, yeah, I really appreciate this period for the other medias. So, and also for this time, the Arirang TV, you honestly invite me for your.
The pleasure is all ours.
Yeah, so.
Right. Hee-jun, before we delve further into Kabaddi, though, I have to admit I'm quite interested in why you decided to join the army. And tell us a bit about your mission in Lebanon, which took place during the pandemic then, 2021.
Exactly, right. So the reason why I joined the army was very simple. Because as athletes, you cannot possibly do your sports for forever. Because it's not like for only the Kabaddi. If you select one of the sports and you decide to be athlete in that field, you cannot do the athlete for forever. Sometimes maybe you select one of the national member, you go out for the competition, compete with the national people and get a medal. That is maybe for a few years, and after a few years you have to retire your position and maybe move to the coach or some kind of education field or whatever. You cannot live as athletes forever. But actually, from my childhood, my father, he really influenced me a lot and affects me a lot because he was used to play as a national kabaddi, the taekwondo player, and also he worked as a detective in Korea, still in the charge of it. So he actually influenced me that a lot. So I just started thinking, I also want to be like my father, even though I'm not gonna like choose my job as detective or police officer, but I want to do something like that. I want to do something for my nation, for our national security, for our national prejudice. Like, so it just start to get to me that thinking that I want to be something job for our nations. So that's why I selected national player as Kabaddi. It also like, you know, get a medal and do something for the nations. But I just started thinking, I cannot do this Kabaddi forever. Maybe I need to find some other job that I can like sacrifice for myself for like a more longer time when you compare with the Kabaddi. And army, it was one of my options. So I chose the army when I was a sophomore year in the university, and I just got into the ROTC, which is Reserve Officer, the Corps. And then I just start to serve as military officer at the 2021 and served for like 3 years and discharged on this year June. And during that period, especially from last year, as you said, I went to Lebanon as a contingency unit because as peacekeeper, because our upper unit is United Nations. So under the United Nations, they have a lot of different contingency units from all the different nations. They come to Lebanon to help out as a peacekeeper, to keeping the peace and helping the Lebanese citizens as well. So I went there from last year about like August, and I just served for like 8 months and come back on this year May. It was a very unforgettable memory, and I also went there as petitions for the interpretation officer. So basically, I help out our Korea battalion people for their better communications and try to avoid their language barriers. And also, I go up for the upper unit, some like United Nations and also some kind of different battalion. And I went there for the military diplomacy. I try to help out, reach out our national security for more the international affair and relations as well. So it was a very unforgettable memory that I have.
And thank you very much for your service there.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Hee-jun, now just to set this in chronological order, you were first interested in Kabaddi,
Right.
and then you happened to take part in the beauty pageant, Miss
Right.
Korea, and then you joined the army.
Exactly.
And now you're back to the sport of Kabaddi. That being said, could you tell us a bit about your initial encounter with the sport of Kabaddi? Walk us through the journey to becoming a national team player.
Well, there was a different journey that I took. First of all, I just took the Kabaddi because it has a really very interesting story inside of it. Because I was used to play as track and field, the hurdle athletes for like a very long time. I started from like elementary school to like a middle schooler. But I changed to my sports to the stunt cheerleading because we have like stunt cheerleading field in Korea as well. It's just like the same as the States, like same as the movie Bring It On. So I also selected one of the national player in that stunt cheerleading and played for like 2.5 to 3 years. And then I became adult. I didn't go to university directly because I want to use my ability, because I can speak English that though. So I didn't choose a university at the time, and I started to work as a Korea tourism organizations as an English interpreter when I was 20. And I actually quit in 6 months later because I didn't really fit with that job because I can use my ability. I'm really satisfying with that. But you know, just sitting down in your chair and spend all the time in the office as 20 years old, like girl who was used to play as athlete. It was a very difficult time for her. So I just quit it in 6 months, and I go for myself to the world travel. Like I traveled to Europe and some of the countries in the Middle East and also the Asia, and India is one of them. And I went there because I like to have some curry and I like to have some cultures there. So I planned it like for like 3 days or 5 days in India. But when I get off from the plane and arrive to the airport, I start to see some of the kids wearing some kind of uniform, and they like draw some line with the chalk powder or something, whatever, and they playing some kind of sports, and that looks very interesting for me. So I started to ask them, what is this? And they said, this is Kabaddi, and we do it as our national sports in here. And okay, that was a very simple moment for me. But when day goes and time goes, wherever I go, the kids are running and doing the Kabaddi around me, and at the playground and anywhere in the road, and especially the express like highways as well. I don't know like how it comes, but and I started to think that okay, I think that if I'm starting this sport, I think I'm kind of good at it, because I knows my ability that much, because I'm not a person that good at like power and my like strengths, but I'm very good at kind of speed and like my movements though.
You're agile.
Right. But I started to think that Kabaddi is kind of fit with my ability. Why not? I have to maybe start because I'm 20 now. So I came back to Korea, tried to find a place where I can start this Kabaddi, the new sport. And the Busan has associations in there. So I just packed my baggage and moved to the Busan and started Kabaddi. And it was lucky though, it was very fit with me, and I'm quite good at it. And after 1 year later, I just selected one of the national member, and I played it as national member for like 6 years to 7 years, and until now. Even though during that journey, I also joined the army for like 3 years. But I just decided to discharge because from 4 years ago, there was Asian Game in Jakarta 2018. We also went out for the challenge, and I also like selected one of them, but we didn't get the medal. We got the 5th place, unfortunately. So it actually kept it in our memory. Even though I serve as a military officer, I cannot get rid of it. I just keep thinking that, oh, why I didn't get the medal from the Asian Game? Even though I got first place and gold medal from all the different competition and championship and World Cup, but only Asian Game. Why didn't I get? Isn't it possible to get? So started thinking, and I cannot get rid of it. So it actually connected to my discharge. So I decided, okay, I think this is the only time I can give it a shot. This is my last challenging for the Kabaddi, because I'm getting old and I'm now 30 now. So I don't think that if the time goes, I don't have like this same sports ability that I have at the moment. So I just decided to discharge and come back to Kabaddi field and also work out very hard and selected one of the national member, and this year June, and went out for the training, the very difficult training for like 4 months, and then went for the Asian Game Hangzhou in 2022.
And staying with that, generally speaking, Hee-jun, what do you suppose can be done to promote better awareness of perhaps lesser known sports like Kabaddi?
For that question, my answer will be just keep doing your sport. Try to not give up. I know that Kabaddi is not one of the unfamiliar sports in Korea. We do have a lot of unfamiliar sports. I cannot mention what exactly the thing is, but sometimes also so am I. During my journey, sometimes I was just like, I want to give up my sports because nobody knows my sports and there's no support. There was not enough space we can practice that much, and it just made me sadden me. It just saddened me though. But only way that these unfamiliar sports can be the familiar sports in Korea is you cannot give up. You just have to keep it up. Just keep doing your sports. And one day, if you're keeping your sports, and one day someone maybe recognizes sports and recognize your career, recognize your goal, then maybe it can influence to the more bigger stage in the advance. So I think best answer, and what I actually put it in my mind for the long time, is just keep it. Just keep in my sports, and one day everybody knows it. And the time is actually coming this year, so I'm really satisfied with that.
And on a more personal level, what do you believe, Hee-jun, has perhaps been driving your desire, if I may, for very diverse experiences?
Well, first, I'm kindly rephrase that question though. I'm not like a desire for the variety experiences. I'm not seeking for like a various experiences actually, because even though you look at me my career as physically like I went for the Army, Miss Korea 2018, and national player in Kabaddi. Maybe they can simply think that maybe this woman likes to do some kind of various experiences, but I'm not. Actually, all the single moment, I'm trying to seeking the solution how I can fill out my problem, because sometimes you find out the moment that what you're good at, but sometimes also you can find the moment that what you're lacking of. Like always, when I find out my weakness, I try to be like fill out my weakness like as soon as possible. For the language, I was used to play as track and field player, but at the moment I could not speak any single word in English. So that moment, because I went out for the kind of like competitions, I could meet some kind of different player from the abroad country. Even though I got the gold medal at that time, I couldn't speak any single word in English. It actually shames me a lot. Even though I put my national flag on my shirts and I got the gold medal, but I cannot speak any single word. I cannot speak my opinion in English, so I cannot having problem with communicating with the people. It actually like gives me really big shames on me. So that's the moment the first I got my weakness. That if I find a weakness, then maybe I have to fill out these problems with using my effort. So that's why I moved to the state to studying my English. And Army as well, I found my lacking of my future career, because I cannot do sports forever for my nation. Then what can I do? That answer was Army. And beauty pageant is also the one of them. I never thought the word beauty is kind of fit with me, because I spend all of my time as athlete. I do my sports. I didn't like spend much of time for my appearance, like doing my makeup, learn how to like wearing some fancy clothes and how to walk. No, that's not my type though. But the reason why I went out myself to these beauty pageants was they have two reasons though. First of all, I like to expand my sports Kabaddi in Korea more worldwide, because Miss Korea is a very biggest media competition. If you selected one of them, or if you're not selected, if you just apply for this beauty pageants, media will be focused on you, and media maybe like advertise her career. So I thought, okay, if I'm not gonna select it, but if I say I'm Kabaddi player, it may be good opportunity to advertise my sports. And second reason is, at the moment I also was ROTC candidate, which is I'm kind of preparing for the Army. Whenever like I train with my colleague, which is a male colleague, some of the people having like their prejudice or their they just put the limitations on the female soldiers. The only reason why they have this prejudice, it was because I'm the female. But at the moment, that's all the sentences they said, it was not the truth. I'm better than men when you compare with my physical strength, my shooting, any other like military study and any other field. Like I try to do my best as an athlete, and I try to study. I try to get all the ability to be the best soldier. So when you compare with the other candidates, maybe amongst all of the candidates, maybe I was selected one of the top candidates during my journey. But only those people, when they saw me and I'm a female, and just they started thinking and started saying those kind of unacceptable sentences, that actually motivates me to apply the Miss Korea 2018. Maybe I just go there and said my thoughts and said what I'm thinking of my career, what I'm thinking of this kind of prejudice. So that actually motivates me a lot. And I also think that the beauty, it has been changed to all the different categories. Beauty is not only talking about appearance. Beauty has a lot of different meanings. So what beauty I had was maybe a little more healthier, and maybe a little more strong beauty that I had, because I was a candidate of the Army and also the athletes. So I think and all the judges, they liked it and having a little interested on my those kind of thoughts. So
Was it Kung Fu Panda who said that inner beauty is important?
a Kung Fu Panda?
The animation.
Oh, really?
The beauty is about being inner beauty as well.
Okay.
Well, for what you've done so far, though, I have to say it's very commendable, and your focus on seeking to address your challenges, I believe, will serve as an
Right.
inspiration for many out there who hope to walk your path then.
Thank you.
Hee-jun, thank you so much for being with us today. It has been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you.
Right, well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching.